Technical difficulties.
Oh, right.
All of a sudden now it's working. Ooh, seems a little loud. Oh.
So many technical difficulties in the span of a couple minutes.
There we go. We're good.
It's early in the morning.
All right, let's try this shit again.
Is the audio fine? It seems a little hot over there on the OBS. I don't know if that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
So that means you guys did not hear this. All right, we're redoing this again. So good morning, everyone. What's going on? Episode 53 of the South Florida Gamers Podcast. I am your host, the Silverback Senpai. Oh, it's too loud. Okay, so I just lower it down from here. I am your host, the Silverback Senpai, and joining me across the table is none other than my co-host, Waluigi.
Morning, everybody. Last episode was pretty fun. Had women at FGC, and now we got our latest guest, FourFaceButtons of Flynn's Gaming.
Yes, sir. He's here with us.
Glad to be here. These two guys dragged me out here. They got some things to ask me. I don't know why.
Oh, I took him hostage. we live in West Palm Beach.
Yeah, we live close enough to each other. It's really convenient to have someone to carpool with.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, definitely. This episode of the podcast is going to be available on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Anchor, and Spotify for our audio-only listeners. And, of course, video playback will be available on YouTube and, of course, on Facebook later on. So let's get right into the meat and the potatoes. Last episode, we had the women of the FGC, as Waluigi mentioned, and it was a really great episode because we really got to see from a woman's perspective of what it's like to be in the fighting game community.
Oh, great.
And sharing their experiences of what, they've went through from their come up inside of the scene and to where they are now. Though we were, I'm short two guests, but we still ended up having a really great episode. So,
Oh, definitely. Can't wait to have him next time.
yeah, definitely. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and talk about our guest today. And that is FourFaceButtons, this man right here in the middle. And we want to know his gaming origins. We want to know your complete gaming background story. What got you into gaming? And yeah, just take it away.
My complete history?
Yes, the complete history.
I'm curious. How did you get the name FourFaceButtons anyways? Is it because of the buttonholes or something?
Well, I was just trying to think of something halfway clever for the YouTube channel. Something very generic.
I was thinking about this for a while, and I haven't slept right ever since. No, I'm kidding.
If I was smart, I would have named it FourFaceButtons. But I never thought I'd get decent at fighting games. Guilty Gear Strive is definitely the best one that I've been doing all right at. But I've been playing video games for pretty much as long as I can remember.
Really?
I don't have a memory of not playing video games. The earliest I can recall is playing Super Mario Brothers and Legend of Zelda on NES.
Ooh, those are good choices.
And I never took it too seriously. It was just something to have fun with until I played games like Silent Hill 2. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's something I was still young, so I didn't I couldn't really get it, but there's something here that can be considered some kind of an art form. And I started, looking into video game magazines, and my favorite one was Electronic Gaming Monthly.
That's an old school classic.
Oh, I loved it. And the way that they do the reviews, and they have roundtable discussions at the end of the magazine talking about, this is how we feel. I'm like, there's a discussion here. Right. There's something going on. And that's kind of the seeds of my love for video games. And eventually that grew into what I'm doing now with YouTube videos and whatever stuff. And for fighting games specifically, the earliest fighting games I recall myself playing were Gundam Battle Assault 2.
I played that.
It's great.
Yes.
So I still have my copy.
Same here.
It's so good. And I played a lot of Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter.
Oh, wow.
But that was just button mashing stuff.
Right.
I didn't really know what I was doing. The first fighting game that I tried to take seriously was Street Fighter 4. And I was awful, horrible at it. But I tried looking up this guy you probably heard of on YouTube who goes by Maximilian Dude.
Yeah.
He's popular. I watched a lot of his videos, especially for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And I tried to get into the theory of the game, but I was terrible at it. And that's never really changed. I was halfway decent at Persona 4 Arena, I think, but every fighting game I played Tekken Tag Tournament 2, I played Soul Calibur 5.
Oh.
I really tried hard to get into Street Fighter 5, but I was horrible at all these games. And at this point, like, I kind of gave up on fighting games. And then the beta for Guilty Gear Strive came out, and I'm like, all right, I very briefly played Guilty Gear XX on PS2 when I was younger.
Yeah.
But that wasn't really anything. But I'm like, all right, this game looks cool. Let me try it out. And I was doing well in the beta as May. I just picked a character at random, like, let me see how this goes. And I was thinking about it for a long time. There's something about this game that feels special to me. And I decided if I don't get okay at this game, then I'm done with fighting games. Like, this is the last fighting game I'm going to bother with. And then go figure, I enter a beginner's tournament online, ended up winning, which I didn't expect. That was amazing. And then I found out about the tournaments here. And I'm like, all right, let me just go see how I do. And I wasn't winning right away, but I was having a lot of fun. And I felt I was growing. And let me just keep coming and keep seeing what happened. And at this point, I'm like, I think I'm actually doing okay. I think I'm doing decent at this game. And everyone's like, oh, you need to go to CEO. I'm like, oh, for what? Like, I never even considered going, but as the day came closer, I'm like, man, maybe I should go. I don't know. But then at the last minute, work schedule conflict came up, so I couldn't even go. But now I'm signed up to go to Combo Breaker, and I'll see how that goes. Yeah, like this is like a whole new world to me. I never thought that I was gonna get decent enough to a point where I'm winning local tournaments, that I'm beating people that they beat me before, and it's like, oh, there's no way I'm gonna be able to beat this guy. And then like it just, I don't know, like I'm somehow getting better. Like this is crazy to me. I don't know. I just like this game a lot. This game's so good.
That's a great, interesting story, man.
I mean, I don't think so, but
No, it's good. It's good.
Everyone in the podcast always has something different to say, so it's always unique. We don't know what we're going to hear, if it's generic or uncommon or some kind of niche specific anime.
Okay.
But in the comments, we just got Kenny Lauderdale.
Sure. Oh yeah, he's a cool guy. He has a great YouTube channel about anime stuff. Really cool stuff.
I'll look into that later.
But yeah, he's a good buddy of mine. Yeah, what did he say?
Yeah, he was saying the magazine ad for Gundam Battle Assault's amazing. Just a hand of cuts and scrapes.
Sounds about right.
So I want to also ask a couple of questions of
Sure.
your origin story and that is what were your first consoles that you owned that got you like some started into gaming? Like what were like your very first initial gaming console? What memories could you share with us that you could talk about in regards to like, okay, this is how my entry point into gaming, and then here are the games that I actually played while I was getting into it.
So the first console for sure that I recall was the NES, but it's so early, like I barely remember anything out of that.
Yeah.
But I played a lot of Super Nintendo. When I was younger, when I was like really little kid, I played a lot of Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Oh, that is a classic game.
I love I love that game so much. Now I play it every Halloween just for fun. It's such a cool game.
Okay, that's
It's
actually
such a
pretty
difficult game.
That's actually a cool tradition.
I love it. It's a great tradition.
That is one of the most difficult games that you could play on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, that is a brutally difficult game. Once you learn it, you get good at it, then it's not as bad. But your first time through, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah.
But I'd say like most of my memories is the Nintendo 64. I distinctly remember my brother and I being really into StarCraft on the computer. But we only had one computer, and we wanted to play each other. So we got the N64 version of the game, which if you've never played it, it's awful. But we didn't know any better.
Yeah.
We're just like, oh, dude, we're playing StarCraft split screen. This is awesome.
Oh boy.
But
But
the N64 at that time did not have networking capabilities.
no, it was like we did it for the split screen aspect.
Oh, okay.
But I played a lot of Super Mario 64, a lot of a lot of Pilot Wings and Wave Race and Legend of Zelda.
Any Star Fox?
Oh, Star Fox 64, absolutely. Yeah,
I had to ask. That's a banger.
that was a big one that I played a lot when I was a kid.
I overplayed the hell out of that game.
I didn't really get a PS1 until much later, but eventually my brother was telling me about this game. He was looking at magazines called Final Fantasy VII. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Yes. Who hasn't?
No, no.
So hold on.
But that was the first RPG I played, and now I play it when my brother's not playing it, and when he's playing, I'm watching him playing, and I'm like, there's like an epic story here. There's characters you follow as the adventures they go on. There's ups and downs. There's triumphs. I'm like, wow, like that was one of the games. I'm like, there's a lot more to video games than I ever thought. I always figured like, oh, these games are just like goofy fun to have fun with, Mm-hmm. But that was one of the earliest games that I'm like, wow, there's really something here. And then again later, when we got a PS2, and my brother came back from the rental store, and he's like, oh, this game looks kind of weird, and it was Silent Hill 2. Oof. And I look at the cover, I'm like, this game looks dumb. I'm not even gonna bother with it. And I talked to him the next day. I'm like, oh, did you try that game out? And he's like, dude, I'm not playing that game. That game's too scary. I'm like, what do you mean it's too scary? Like the scariest game I played before was like Super Ghouls and Ghosts in Castlevania. And I'm like, what do you mean it's scary? Like that's dumb. So then I tried it. I'm like, dude, no way. this game is like seriously. Yeah, again, that was like one of those games. I'm like, there's a lot more potential to video games. This can be just as legitimate of an art form, and I don't know, it just kept going from there, so to speak.
All right, so from the PS2, since we're talking about PS2, I want to know what are the top 3 games that you can remember off the top of your head that were bangers, like really good games. Like if you had a PS2, these were the go-to games to own.
I actually had this discussion with a good friend of mine not long ago. If I have to pick, it's hard because like the library is like, dude.
Yeah, this PS2's library is insane.
Yeah. But if I have to pick one, without question, Devil May Cry 3.
Yes.
Ooh, yes, I agree.
I really thought about it, and I tried to come up with arguments against and whatnot, but when it really comes down to it, I think that is the single number one game on the PS2. It's almost perfect.
Yeah.
It's so good. And now going from there, I really, really love Silent Hill 3. I want to put Resident Evil 4 up there, but it gets hard because now it's competing against like Metal Gear Solid 3.
Wow, that's actually good.
It's tough. That's around like top 4. I wish I had something more interesting. These are like such like generic answers that like everyone says.
Okay, I'll give you. All right, all right. Instead of top 3, top 5.
We gotta challenge you.
Oh man. So
all right, so Devil May Cry 3 is at the top.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Then Resident Evil 4. What are the other 3?
I say Silent Hill 3. I say Metal Gear Solid 3. And man, I don't know. What's another one? I don't know. I don't have anything in my head right now.
Ooh.
Like, I mean, I have a bunch of games. Like, I have so many memories playing Final Fantasy 11 on PS2, But I wouldn't put that in top 5.
Right.
I'm trying to think of something else. But I mean, that you want to talk about like childhood memories, like, dude, I spend way too much time on Final Fantasy 11 for sure. That's the online one on PS2.
Yeah, like I think when that game came out, I remember a lot of people, especially from my high school days, were just like playing the crap out of that game because of there was the online aspect, and then of course the experience that you get in the game alone is just overwhelmingly good. It was like the best Final Fantasy game for the PS2 at that time that it came out. And
that too, yeah.
And it was like, yo, if you want a really good RPG game, Final Fantasy 11, that's your go-to game. That's the game that you get.
Yeah. And then a big part of it also has to do with the fact that you're paying a monthly subscription. So you kind of feel obligated to keep playing, which, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I'm having a hard time saying that fifth one for sure.
God of War 2.
I have some controversial takes.
Jack and Dexter.
Actually, I never played Jack and Dexter.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, sorry. I have some controversial takes. I actually think God of War 1 is way better than 2.
Yeah.
You know, personally. I think 2 had some interesting additions, but the pacing and the level design, it wasn't as strong. God of War 1 had such a good pacing, like there was never any break.
Yeah.
And it was the first one. They really nailed it on that first try.
Yeah.
I don't know. God of War 2 never really gelled with me. And if you want to get into some really controversial takes, I actually think God of War 3 is pretty trash.
What?
Yeah. I actually think God of War 3 is like...
On God? Oh
What?
my God.
Okay, I need to hear this.
Yes. Yes.
Why?
I'm clipping that.
What?
I'm
You want to take this character Kratos, who he's doing everything for revenge against his family, and is just totally angry dude, hates everything around him, murders everything. Then you get into God of War 3, immediately opens up the same way. He's climbing Mount Olympus with Gaia, and then Gaia's like, yeah, I know you weigh like nothing to me, but I need you off my back, you know, and dumps him. And, you know, and that's fine. It's like, so then when Gaia comes up again, he's like, oh, you know, ain't revenge something, you know, and that's a great scene, you know?
Yeah.
His character's consistent throughout all this time. I love this one scene where he needs to open this door that requires like you to hold open a lever, and he gets this slave woman and props her up against it. And you don't see what happens to her, but you just hear like this crunching bone as she like can't hold it up anymore. It's great. Like Kratos doesn't care about anything around him. He's doing this completely for himself. And then out of nowhere, you introduce the character Pandora.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, why? I get it. Like she reminds him of his daughter, but to this extreme, like he really like starts doing pretty much everything for her, you know? And it doesn't even make sense. And then in general, like it felt like that was a big part of it, because these God of War games, the gameplay is simplistic, so you need that world building and that character and that storytelling, you know, to really carry the experience. And that's something I felt like the first game did extremely well. That's not to go too far off topic, but that's a similar reason why I really hate Uncharted 3. Uncharted 1 and 2, they're okay, you know? Uncharted 2 especially had really good character moments.
Yeah.
So I'll actually I'll give that game a pass for sure. But Uncharted 3 was extremely weak in that regard.
Yeah.
God of War 3 is similar. And then in general, like, I remember the gameplay just losing me. So I played all 3 games back to back. So maybe by that point I kind of had enough of it.
Yeah.
But that was the big one for me. They completely lost Kratos' character on me. Like, it didn't even make sense. I don't know. That's whatever.
I feel some type of way, but you know,
I laughed at Sensei Raphael. He's like, nah, kick him off the podcast. And we got Poverty Senpai's like, God of War is definitely before my time. It's early 2000s when it came out, right?
The first God of War?
The first one.
Sounds about
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So I don't disagree with what you're saying, because at the beginning point, before Pandora was introduced, that's when Kratos was just on his vengeance warpath.
Yeah.
And he was just a complete monster. Like, he did not give a shit about anything or anybody. His vengeance was his all-time high. And then when Pandora was introduced, then you kind of started to see a shift to where he's somewhat gaining his humanity back.
Sure.
Yeah. And then up and towards the end, when it would look like he was gonna stab Gaia with the sword of Olympus, he ends up stabbing himself and then releasing all the godly powers back into the world.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing when that happened, and then Athena
Athena at the end, yes.
yeah,
yes.
picked up Kratos, like, you disappoint me, and then she left or whatnot. And then you kind of see Kratos at that smirk. It was just like, yeah, he's not giving you guys what you want.
Sure. And I get that. I feel like you can still have that without having Pandora at all. You know, you can still have Kratos having this realization of like, well, I'm just playing into their hand. You know, I feel like, and I know I'm making a big deal about a single character, but like, she's like half the story. Like, she is a big deal in that game.
Yeah.
And I feel like she doesn't add anything, and it's just.
It's not contribution enough.
Yeah,
it doesn't contribute to anything.
The contribution is not justified, and it was super disappointing to me. And then you have the new God of War, which I thought was pretty good. I actually enjoyed it. Some of my buddies, they're like, oh, and I agree with some of what they say. I don't think it needed like these RPG mechanics. I felt like that detracted. But for the most part, like I thought it was a cool game.
Yeah.
I'm just killing people, going crazy. It was good.
I didn't like the latest God of War due to the fact that of course Baldur was the final boss, and then it was just like the boss the harpies, they were like in game, like after you beat like the main story, they were in game. I did not like that part because it was just like, I could have added that to the game, to the main story or whatnot, to give it more flavor. Because when I fought Baldur for the very last time, it was such an underwhelming fight. I'm just like, well, this sucks.
And you're talking about the Valkyries, right? You said the harpies. You said.
Yeah, Valkyries.
Sure. Okay. I 100% agree. It's such a weird feeling because you fight Baldur the first time,
and it was
such a good moment.
Yeah,
it is so cool. And then you fight him the last time, and it's like, it's not the same.
It's like, why don't you die already?
It's a much more basic fight. It's not as grandiose. And then, well, no, just in case no one's played it, I won't say spoilers. But like the way that it finally ends, I'll say it's appropriate, but it's so sudden and then like, okay, I guess that's it then.
Yeah.
So.
Herb's got a question for you.
Oh, what's up?
Which is worse, The Last of Us 2 or God of War?
Oh, Last of Us 2. that you don't.
Can you tell us why?
Do I really want to get into that?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, you're in the right podcast.
For real. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I was gonna say real quick about the new God of War though. I agree about the Valkyries. Like those are some of the cooler fights for sure.
Yeah.
Not even like it doesn't even have to set up like this crazy set piece. They're just like good individual fights.
Right.
I do agree. That's kind of a problem that the new God of War has. Is a lot of its best stuff is hidden behind side content.
Yeah. And that was my one big, two big complaints. That and the last boss fight was like kind of underwhelming because God of War is known for having these huge epic boss battles that when you finally complete it, you feel you feel a certain type of way. You feel accomplished, you feel hyped, you feel good, but it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that one it ended on a weaker note, which is extremely disappointing.
Yeah.
And then also they repeat that giant with like the big stone slab over.
Yeah.
They do them like 3 or 4 times in the game.
Oh my god.
It's like I kind of had enough.
But yeah, I think they're just preparing for Ragnarok. Hopefully it comes out good this year.
I'm hoping, yeah.
It's this year or next year?
They're saying this year, but I have a strong feeling it's going to be next year.
I'm agreeing.
It's going to be delayed, yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
Definitely for the PS5 quality.
And then I could also say like Kratos having more humanity in that game. I can believe it a lot more because there's such a long time skip, But for God of War 1, 2, and 3, all of those games are like almost back to back in terms of like the timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like when 3 comes around, all of a sudden he grows a heart, and I'm like, okay,
Change of heart.
whatever you say.
It took less than 20 days or something like that. I don't know how long it takes in the game.
But yeah, if you want me to talk about Last of Us 2, like man,
Give us your hot take.
Jeez. So a lot of people hate that, spoilers, but people probably know about this game. Like they probably know like the vast majority about this game by now.
Yeah.
But people talk about how much they hate that Joel dies in Last of Us 2, And I don't disagree. It's pretty silly that he goes into this room of strangers and just announces his name and be like, hey, this is me. Oh, you're the guys hunting me down? Damn. Should have thought this through, But that's fine. If they want to kill this guy off in order to build up this new villain as this like major threat, I'm not against that. That's fine. We can make this work. The part that I'm calling out Neil Druckmann himself on his supposed expert storytelling
Neil Druckmann.
is you get to the halfway point, and now you play the game as Abby instead. You play as the villain, which it's fine. You know, we can make this work. But you build up this character as this horrible, evil monster throughout the whole game. There's like nothing redeeming about her. Then you play as her, and one of the very first things you see, you walk out of her dorm room. On one side, there's like a middle school classroom. On the other side, there's an elementary school classroom. And then you go into this cafeteria with all these happy people eating. And it's like, wow, you hated this person? How dare you? Look how nice she is. Look at the family that she has. Boy, I bet you feel like a fool now. And I'm like, you wrote the story. Like, you did this on purpose. Like, this isn't clever. This is stupid. You, like, if there was at least some kind of hint, some kind of redeeming factor leading up to it. But, like, no, like, everything that you as Ellie, when Ellie goes to kill one of Abby's friends earlier, she's like I forget her name, but like Abby's friend like comes off as like so evil and psychotic. She's talking to Ellie and she says something like, "Oh, I still hear Joel's screams every night when he died. Yeah, he died like a little bitch." And I'm like, okay, like you're just evil then. That's fine, you know, whatever. And then you play as Abby and it's like, boy, don't you feel like a fool. Look at how nice these people actually are. And that's what the whole game hinges on, you know? And then also you're playing as Abby, and like Abby absolutely hates these this other sect of people, like these cult people. But then you end up having to join up with one of them, and she starts learning like, oh, maybe they're not all so bad after all. It's like, so the whole theme of the game is just perspectives.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's such a great theme. Like I've never thought of that before. Like people aren't what you think they are initially. Wow, isn't that something? It's super weak. It's extremely weak, especially when that's what the entire story hinges on. Super weak.
Agreed.
Very, very, very poorly done. Which is a horrible shame because the gameplay, when you actually get to the gameplay, it's like half, if not, like people make fun of Metal Gear Solid 4 for being half cutscenes. Last of Us 2 puts it to shame.
Really?
The pacing is horrible. But when you do get to the gameplay, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's extremely well done. I felt like Last of Us 1's gameplay is pretty weak. It's especially today. It's very janky. It's not very polished. But Last of Us 2, they nailed it. It's so well done. But you never get to it. It's so much walk and talk, dialogue, cutscenes. I'm over it. Hate it. Hate that game.
Well, that answers Herbs' question.
Yeah, sorry that took a while.
No, you're good. You're
Don't
good.
worry, we got time.
You're good. So, before we jump off to our last topic, what are your favorite genres of gaming?
I mean, I want to say fighting games, but Strive is like the only one I like, kind of. I like platformers a lot. If I ever want to just chill, like Super Mario World, or I'll just look up a random platformer. Yeah, I played Celeste not too long ago. That game's great. That's such a fun game. Another game called Slime Son, which is similar to Celeste. A very, very good game. Really cheap, and has enough levels that it'll take you a good time to beat it. But Slime Son is actually similar to Super Meat Boy in the sense where it's just like a collection of shorter levels, you know?
Right.
And then Super Meat Boy is another one. I like platformers a lot. That's just like such a, unless something like, I want to be the guy. Like I'm good. Like don't even get me on that one. But yeah, platformers is one of my favorite genres. Shooters, whether it's like first-person shooters or something like Metal Slug, you know, whatever. I like shooters. Pretty much anything except sports games and strategy games like StarCraft or Advance Wars or Fire Emblem. I'm too brainless. I can't do it. I feel like such an idiot playing StarCraft. I remember I tried playing a little bit online more recently. Blizzard made the original StarCraft free to download, and they made it so that you can like easily connect, install it on modern platforms and play online and whatever. So I'm like, oh, let me just play online. I'm just building my base. I'm having fun, I'm just building my army, taking my time. All of a sudden, just an army of Zergs show up, and I'm like, I wasn't ready. What's happening? I'm way too stupid at StarCraft. I can't handle it. But yeah, pretty much anything except like sports and strategy. Like I'll play just about anything. You give me the right racing game, like I'll play racing too. Mario Kart I'm okay with, but I really love Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 3,
Ooh.
which was on originally on PS3 and 360, and they recently remastered it. But yeah, Hot Pursuit 3 I love. It's so much fun. And like one of my favorite games of all time is Outrun on the arcade. Really, really cool game. I asked who's the guy? I don't think Eddie, the other guy who.
Will.
Will, yeah. I was talking to Will about it. I'm like, dude, please get Outrun on that machine. Because they have Outrun 2, which I love a lot, but I want the original. And he's like, oh, yeah, we're going to see about getting it. And then next thing I see, the machine is down. And I'm like, oh, no. Now I don't get to play anything at all. But yeah, again, I like just about anything except for sports and strategy, yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, again, you give me the right sports game, I'll play NBA Jam. Because NBA Jam, everyone loves that game.
Yeah. All right. So next topic is what got you into competitive fighting games? Even though you discussed that already in the first previous topic or whatnot, but
yeah, for sure. Again, like pretty much the same stuff. It was I played the beta, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing okay. I feel like, let me go ahead and like enter online tournaments and see where I go with this. And I was doing decent. I won that beginners tournament, and I'm like, wow, okay, maybe there's potential here. And then I start coming here to Flynn's, and well, first I went to Next Level Gaming in Miami because I didn't even know about Flynn's. I wish I knew about this place. It's a lot closer.
right.
Oh, hell yeah.
But yeah, I went to Next Level Gaming, and then I learned about Hotashi. I never knew about him before, and I actually played a match in bracket against Idiosyncrasy, and it was a great eye-opening experience. So like, wow, there's people that are like really good at this. I can't even touch these guys. And that like shows how much further I have to go, And then I came here and I started doing better and better. The biggest moment for me was being asked for the sponsorship, which I never thought in a million years that would even be on the table. That I would get good enough that it's like, hey, we want you to represent us, if you go elsewhere, and here's a jersey for you. And I'm just like, no matter what happens, Guilty Gear Strive will eventually die out. 5, 7, depending how many years it takes. But regardless of anything else, like I have the jersey as a trophy.
Right.
Like that's amazing to me.
That is one of the awesome experiences.
But yeah, that's pretty much. I never thought I would really get into fighting games like this. Like I said, like I tried a few of them before. Mm-hmm. And Guilty Gear Strive, I pretty much convinced. Oh yeah, and I played a fair bit of Dragon Ball FighterZ as well. I was terrible at it. Every game I was horrible at. Like I didn't really know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something about May's gameplay just gels with me. Like it makes sense.
Yeah.
Probably has to do with how freaking big her buttons are, and I can just like whiff the anchor and neutral, and people run into it, and it's like, oh okay, that works. Yeah, like I didn't think I would get this good, and I pretty much told myself like, if I don't really get Strive, like if it doesn't gel with me, this is gonna be the last fighting game I play.
Yeah.
Like I'm just spending money on games that like I don't really understand.
Right.
But yeah, it turned out that like this is the one that I'm best at, and I love it. Like it's just all the mechanics make a lot of sense to me, and it's really fun. It's not perfect. There's some little issues here and there that I don't totally agree with, but it's my favorite fighting game of all time by far.
Who would you say gave you your best learning experience, like when you've played against them and you decided to learn more about yourself and of course more about your game? Like, who would you say gave you that kind of feeling?
That's a really good question because there's so many players. I don't think I've ever actually fought against Hotashi, so that's not even an option, you know? Mm-hmm. Idiosyncrasy is definitely one of the bigger ones for sure, by far. Not just because he's so good, but he's also extremely humble. I remember telling him, like, oh, dude, there's no way I'm going to be able to beat you. You're so good. And he tells me, like, at the end of the day, we're all human. Everyone's beatable. Don't put these people on a pedestal. You can win, you know, maybe not today, tomorrow, or next month, but with little by little improvement, you can get there. Everyone is beatable.
Damn.
And that was really, you want to talk about like eye-opening. I'm like, it sounds so obvious, like duh, but it's really good to hear that from someone who's like really high up there, super good, you know. Marvello absolutely is a big one for sure. The way that like he's just running laps around you with Chip, he's making your life miserable. But then afterwards, he'll sit you down and be like, "Hey, dude, this is what you're supposed to do when I do this," you know. And it's not just like the direct advice, but also the reminder of there's an answer for every approach.
Yeah.
Like he's not playing this ungodly perfection where it's like there's nothing you're allowed to do. It's like, no, there's an answer for every approach. You just have to look for it.
Yeah.
You know, you have to figure it out. Having like Herbs as a training partner is so good. But, you know, having someone close by that like, hey, you know, you want to.
I agree with this 100%.
You want to meet up somewhere nearby and let's just run some games, like, and then, you know, you talk about it and like, oh, what do you do about this? Oh, what can I do against this? And, you know, back and forth. That's such a big deal. Creator as well, for a similar reason as Marvello. He'll again like run laps around you, and then it's like, dude, why are you doing wake up throw so often? You know? And like I don't even realize it. And it's like, obviously. Yeah, like that's you want to talk about getting better at a fighting game, like that's what it comes down to. You gotta put in the grind, but it helps so much to have a conversation afterwards and discuss it.
Yeah.
And yeah, just in general, if I'm ever up against someone who's beating me and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And then I just like look back at the footage and think like, oh, if I played more patiently, he kept getting me every time I did this, you know, I got to throw him off in a different way and that'll help, things like that. But I'd say those four people were like the top four for sure.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, because I think it was last tournament you finally beat
Marvello. Oh my
in
God.
bracket. Like
Yeah.
you finally beat him in bracket, though you didn't win the tournament.
Yeah.
And you was like, you were still a little bit disappointed because you're just like, I beat Marvello, who was my all-time bracket dean, but it's just like I didn't win the tournament because you had AJ here, who completely smoked everyone. Like
I heard and I saw that.
Yeah, like
AJ's something else.
yeah, his biking is whoa, like whoa.
Well, we'll see about the tournament tonight, but part of me that didn't make me feel super proud about beating Marvello, like maybe I'm wrong, maybe I am getting better, but I don't think that's what it is. But I felt like he wasn't totally on his game, and it makes sense because he was on vacation. He just came back recently. Mm-hmm. He didn't come for like the past 2 weeks worth of tournaments.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure he wasn't even playing the game at all.
Right.
You know, he was with family. So I was basically, I won against warming up Marvello.
Yeah.
You know, not real, not God Marvello.
Yeah.
Not real Marvello.
Not the Marvello that comes out like every week and he's just like he's still fresh.
Yes,
like
exactly.
He's still fresh. Like he's been practicing.
What was the score anyways?
I think
it was 3-0.
That's what I was gonna say. I could be wrong, but I think it was 3-0, which like didn't
Okay.
even feel real.
Yeah, because it was just like they're known for going to game 5.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
They're
wonder.
known for going to game 5. So when it was like 3-0 FourFaceButtons, I was like, what?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like you look away expecting like, all right, I'll come back when the match is late, or you come back and like Marvell already lost. It's like, what?
Something ain't right.
Yeah.
It's the thought process that kicks in. You're like, oh shit. Oh my god.
But it happens. Like players do have off nights or where they feel a little bit rusty and whatnot. And once they get back on the grind, and then just like, okay, I'm back to where I'm at, if not even better. And that's one of the things that I would tell other players. When they lose, just like, you don't lose. You either win or you learn.
Yeah.
When you lose, it's just you lose when you completely just like give up.
Yes.
That's when you lose. When you give up, you lose. But learn, like, rewatch the stream, rewatch your matches or whatnot, especially if it was played on stream, so that way you can see where the mistakes that you're doing, because players have habits. Everyone has habits in fighting games, and people will expose those habits that you have and be like, hey, you're doing this, stop doing this too much. Hey, you're always trying to go for gold burst, stop doing that, stop trying to burst. Focus on the neutral. Punish when I do, or try to bait me into doing something, so that way you can punish me for it.
Yep.
People have habits, and you just have to find a way to punish those habits when that opportunity comes. It's going to be a real small, short window, but once you see it and you punish it, keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Well said.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so our next topic is, what got you doing gaming content on YouTube?
Man, I've been watching. I actually looked at your videos and I love them.
Really?
Yes.
There's probably something wrong with you.
No, it's entertainment. I got to learn about my interviewee, if anything. Plus, you've been doing it for 4 years, from what it looks like.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've been doing it consistently for 4 years. I had like another channel where like I uploaded like very sporadically, but that's whatever. Like that's not even anything to count. The current channel, I've been keeping up with it very consistently for like the past 4 or 5 years. Probably like 4 years.
2017. Holy smokes.
2017? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on your YouTube page now.
For sure.
And I just subscribed.
You're gonna want to hit that button again and unsubscribe. There's like nothing there worth
Shut
watching.
up, you're fine.
But yeah, so what got me into doing it is again, one of my favorite magazines was Electronic Gaming Monthly, and I really respected what they did. And as I was growing up through high school and college, actually in college I was taking journalism classes just on the off chance that maybe I can get a job at like a gaming magazine. It was a dumb childish dream of sorts, but that was the idea I was going into. And then not that I'll get into it, but like apparently I was absolutely terrible at writing for journalism. And I'm like, all right, I guess I better do something else. But that was the idea I had.
Yeah.
But anyway, and like one of the biggest things that made me respect Electronic Gaming Monthly so much was the editor at the time when I was subscribed was Dan Shu, and he put in the letter to the editor, kind of like the foreword at the start of the magazine. Mm-hmm. One of the months was like, oh, Midway's not happy about our low review score for one of the Mortal Kombat games. And he's like putting this out there publicly, and he says that Midway is not going to give us early review copies.
Oh.
So if you see that other magazines are reviewing the latest game before we do, that's why. We're simply going to have to buy it ourselves when it actually comes out. Midway said that they're going to pull their advertisements from our magazine, so we're going to get less funding. And the guy goes like, and he's like, if that's how it's going to be, that's how it's going to be. But we're not going to change how we review our games. Yeah. This is how we do things. If you're not happy about it, that's on you. Make better games. Yeah. And then it happened again with Ubisoft, because they gave a quote unquote low score for Assassin's Creed. On their website, they put the review early, and the guy gave it like a 6 or a 7. No higher than a 7, might have been a 6. I don't remember right now. But Ubisoft contacted them immediately after, and they said like, you can't give us this kind of score. Like, you know, according to them, like, this is unacceptable.
Yeah.
You know? So they did the same thing. We're not going to send review copies. We're going to take back our advertisement, whatever.
Wow.
And at the time EGM had a podcast, and they did like a discussion about this, and they were joking about it, and they're like, Ubisoft didn't even see my score yet. I gave the game a 4. But yeah, they were like, you know, it's a real shame because at the time, like, they were big fans of Splinter Cell, and that's when Pandora Tomorrow and Chaos Theory was coming out. Those were like the really big Splinter Cell games at the time, which were also Ubisoft. And it's like, we don't have anything against Ubisoft, just this game didn't really appeal to us, you know.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. But yeah, I really respected. I followed the magazine for that, and then eventually the magazine shut down. They ran out of funding. It's dead, and that was really depressing. But then the magazine was coming back, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. But it wasn't the same. There was something wrong about it. The way that the writing was. Obviously, I didn't play every game, so like I can't judge for myself. You know, how do my opinions line up?
But you've known their reviews for so long that
Yeah,
you have
it's
an
like-
idea of how they format their own like.
Something didn't seem right. And then the really big moment that I'm like, this isn't right. Do you know the game Aliens Colonial Marines?
Yes.
Yes.
EGM gave that game a glowing review.
Oh no.
They everything about the game was amazing. I think they ended up giving it like a 9 out of 10 or something.
Lord.
You know that's definitely really good.
That was the moment that I'm like, these aren't even the same people.
No.
I'm over it. And that was kind of like the light switch moment for me, where because at the time I would complain a lot. You have like ridiculous stories, like you know, obviously the website IGN. They famously gave God Hand on PS2 a 3 out of 10, which is like
Hence why IGN stands for Ignorant Gamers Network.
nice. But yeah, I look at like what IGN does. There's that famous story from the website GameSpot that they ended up firing one of their reviewers.
Oh no.
For a low score on the game Kane and Lynch, which was like how can this happen? Like, how dare you? The guy, Jeff Gerstmann, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name properly, but he would later go on to found the website Giant Bomb, which, you know, it's one of the bigger websites for sure. But yeah, it's like I would complain about this stuff, and I eventually figured I can either keep whining and moaning and nothing will happen, or at the very least I can try to put out there the kind of stuff that I would want to see. And
Yeah.
that's what I decided to start doing. I'm like, I've always wanted to do video game reviews, so I'm just gonna do it, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's kind of it's sad how gaming has, like, especially gaming journalism has, I would say, have been going on the decline instead of going up. It's just been going down compared to the past, where there was a good level of integrity. Like, they're not they're not giving this game a high score because, you know, they can, you know, keep getting review copies or whatnot. If anything, I'll just be like, I'll wait until the game comes out, then play it, and then give it the review, and then let people know
Oh, I agree.
that, hey, this game is worth your money, or, you know what, skip it. This game's not that good.
Exactly.
Because you want gamers to know, like, hey, if this is a really good game, go for it. If this is the type of game that you're interested in, the genre, the style, the art, the music, blah, 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 go for it, buy it. But if it's trash, I'm going to let you know it's trash. I appreciate integrity because, for one, it lets me know, okay, if this game's trash, I'm not going to bother dropping money for it. But if it's good, all right, I'll take your word, and then I'll purchase it and see for myself. And if I enjoy it, as you said, all right, I'm going to like it.
Ooh, I agree.
Exactly.
Because for me, I was also a big fan of Game Informer and, of course, EGM as well.
That was
growing
another
up.
one. Game Informer was a big one.
Same.
Yeah, and now it's just like, I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know if I can take y'all seriously anymore because y'all have changed so much to the point where it's like, and you see it online and you hear about it that, hey, we're giving this game a high score so that way we can keep getting review copies, we can keep getting funding and advertisements to stay in business. And it's like, I hate that it's like that. I do, but I understand. But it's like I just don't like that.
I'm the same way. I hate it, but I get it. It's a business.
Like you understand the hustle.
Yeah, and it's like you're being disingenuous due to your job. And it's because of you're at the mercy of publishers and other gaming companies that are giving you review copies of games. I wish it was just not like that. To whereas, hey, if your game is trash, then you need to do better, not trying to scam and rip off gamers. To whereas now, what
It
do you
seems
get?
to be the most common thing, especially
Yeah.
like on Steam or something.
Look at today now. Now we're getting microtransactions to death.
DLCs, gambles.
Loot box stuff.
Oh, the whole gotcha grabs. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And it's like, man, growing up, you had a full game.
And you unlocked everything. You had to earn it.
Yeah, you had to spend time in the game, play the game in certain difficulties, do certain things to unlock and have certain things. I kind of miss those days.
Absolutely.
I do.
Agreed.
But now it's just like, I get the business side of it, but it's just like, y'all being real scummy about it. And then, of course, the reviewers ain't making it any better, which is why you have people turning to independent reviewers, people who are not bought by bigger companies to, hey, I need you to review this game and give it a high score.
Yeah, it's very strange how the landscape changed.
Yeah.
And growing up, I never would have thought independent reviewers was going to be a thing, But yeah, that's what happened. It's very crazy. It's very odd.
Yeah, it truly is. It just makes you appreciate what you had back in the past when everything was just, getting started. You had these up and coming gaming journalism sites and whatnot starting, grassroots, things like that. And now it's just, hey, we're just in it for the money.
Yeah.
We're in for the money, not for the passion. And just like, I kind of miss the passion because when you're passionate about it, the money's not the first thing. It's just that this is something that you are truly passionate about and you're going to be 100% honest. And I think that's the thing gamers want the most is just integrity. They want to have integrity and they want these gaming companies to be open and upfront and honest. Same thing with the journalists as well. But now it's all business.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't like that, which is why I just go to independent reviewers, people who are not bought by bigger companies or whatnot, or shilling for bigger companies so that way they can, appease to them and try to get funding and whatnot. Nah.
Reminds me of Jake James Lugo, actually, who is another independent
Yeah,
reviewer.
it's another great guy.
Love that man.
And a local.
Yeah.
I gotta go bug him later, but Slipmaker wanted to let us know that Dave is live. One of your friends?
Slipmaker's great. He was watching my game reviews, when I was getting started, so to speak.
Really?
And I was always encouraging him, he loves TV shows and movies and stuff. And I was like, just try it out, see what happens. Mm-hmm. The guy blew up out of nowhere. He's got
that's awesome.
He's got tens of thousands of subscribers. And he's getting millions of views on his videos.
Oh, that's badass.
Out of nowhere. Man. I've been doing this for 4.5, close to 5 years. And Slipmaker's been doing it for maybe 1.5, 2 years. And he's huge. It's awesome. Really good for him. But if you want TV show stuff like Breaking Bad or whatever, he's a really good guy to check out.
I do have this one question though.
What's up?
And it's not on the topics or whatnot. If you were to start a gaming journalism company, what are the first few things that you're going to make sure that this is established? Like your own independent gaming journalism company.
I mean, I don't know. I never really thought about that. What you were saying earlier, integrity's number one.
Yeah.
It's so hard because it's just be honest. Just do this and that. It's easy. But at the end of the day, money's a factor.
Yeah.
I hate it, but I do understand why these companies do what they do because they're trying to stay afloat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know. It's, be honest. And when you're going to review a game, it's so important to make sure you don't necessarily have to quote unquote beat the game, so to speak. Like, as an example, because it came out recently, like for Elden Ring, it's like, does it count if you beat the game if you didn't explore the Halig tree, which was a completely optional massive dungeon, you know? Maybe you never even found it. You don't know, you know?
Yeah.
Does it count if you beat the game if you didn't do Randy's side quest, you know? It's like, it's up to you what you consider quote unquote beating the game, but at least put in your due diligence that you saw enough of the game that you feel like you can grasp a really good understanding of how you feel about the game, and base your review off of that. Don't play like the first 2 or 3 hours and it's like, yeah, I basically got an idea. Let me like type something real quick, push it out there, next game.
You just gotta see it through.
Yeah, like do as much as you can, which is hard because some of these games, if you're lucky, you get a short, quote unquote short game that's like 5 or 10 hours,
Yeah.
if you're lucky, but a lot of these games are like 20, 30 hours long.
Yeah.
The fact that it's so funny how large the gap can be, but a long movie is like 3 hours. That's a long movie.
Yeah.
A short game is like 5 hours. So it's like
Wow. Now I just realized that. You're right.
you know, a normal game is like 10, 15, 20 hours.
And a short movie is like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
If you can cover that much into a movie before making a sequel.
If I'm like, oh, I'm feeling lazy, I should review something, but I don't want to review a full game, I'll like pick a movie at random and I'll review a movie because it's a lot shorter. Not that it's like any easier to review, so to speak, but like as far as like writing the review, that's not necessarily easier, but
You are bold with some of these reviews, my guy.
but it's a lot shorter. And when I go to editing, I only have like an hour and a half worth of stuff to edit. It's not like editing footage for a video game where I have like 10 hours of stuff to go through, and it's like, oh my god. So
Definitely agree with Keanu. That's a 7 out of 10.
Keanu's cool. I like Keanu.
Key and Peele.
Yeah, and that's another thing, like people will look at like a score as like, oh, how dare you give it a 6 out of 10? That's terrible. It's like 6 out of 10 is above average.
Oh, snap. You saw
Yeah.
Doom Annihilation
Not bad.
too.
Doom Annihilation was
It sucked.
it was fun-ish, but yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't very good.
As a Doom fan, I understand.
Now, I did watch your Elden Ring review, and
You can disagree. You can totally disagree. It's fine.
No. It's not the fact that I don't disagree. It's just that for me, it's still a game that I thoroughly 100% enjoy. I may not agree with the score, but the arguments that you made for certain things, like, because I got well over 100 hours in and I'm level 200 because I've been farming my ass off in that fucking game. So.
Oh my god.
So, because I like to feel powerful. Like, I've done that with Dark Souls 3 to the point where I got so powerful that I just like going up and just
One-shotting a guy.
yeah, literally. And then, trying different builds and seeing, okay, maybe this will work or maybe that will work. I like that. I like the option of just being powerful and then trying different ways to like beating a boss or whatnot, or cheesing them, and so to speak. But I do agree with the recycled bosses. I do agree with that.
They got out of hand.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's out of
Yeah, I'm just like, like, okay, here's another one, and I'm gonna beat it the same way like I do the other ones.
Yeah.
And then you see enemies that become sudden bosses.
Yeah.
The Soldier of Godric is an example.
It's one thing. It's one thing for a boss to show up later as a normal enemy, because it kind of gives you that feeling like, wow, I'm so powerful that like this isn't even a boss anymore. Now it's just a normal guy. That can be cool. It's another thing when a normal enemy is a boss. Then it's like, why? What?
Yeah.
For all these Souls games, I actually feel the opposite. The way I like to approach it, I won't do like a Soul level 1 run because I'm not that masochistic.
No.
But
Jesus.
I like going through these games at more or less at as low of a level as I can handle it. Part of it being that like I don't know what's coming up ahead. So if I find a new weapon that's like, oh, I'm really going to want to use that weapon, then I'm going to want to put my points into, using that weapon, So I kind of want to save my points for that.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, it doesn't feel great to me. Like everyone's different and that's fine, but it doesn't feel great to me to just walk up to a boss, hit it twice, and then he's dead. It's like, I want this to be a really long,
an epic grand battle.
An epic battle, really. And I'm learning their attack patterns. I'm dodging through them. I'm figuring it out. That's what I really find exciting about these games. And all of these games, for the most part, they do that. I have my complaints about like each individual one here and there, but for the most part, they all did this really well. I just feel like Elden Ring toned it way too hard. And the answer to that is like, oh, just use spirit summons, which I'm not going to say is wrong. Like, that's fine. The problem I have is that every single one of these Souls games, they've all had really faulty AI, It works for the most part when you're one-on-one, that's fine. The second you add a second guy in co-op, the boss doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
They start like turning around in place. They shift their attention, and it's like
I've been doing that and abusing that a lot. So.
Exactly, and
Me too.
I
Not gonna
don't
lie.
I don't like abusing that.
For certain bosses, I am abusing the hell out of it because
Fucking dragons.
no, Malekith, like that
Oh,
boss
you're
was
right.
annoying.
Forget Malekith, Jesus.
Once he like the first phase, I can solo him easy. First phase. The second phase where he's just jumping
He's jumping from pillar to pillar,
pillar, shoot, spamming Getsuga Tenchos and shit and whatnot. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm summoning a spirit. Fuck this.
I'm not even playing a Souls game anymore. This got into freaking Metal Gear Rising territory.
Yeah, literally.
It's insane. That's what because originally I'm like, oh, let me try to like get through as much of the game because I knew about the summoning spirits.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's just another form of co-op.
Yeah.
I want to beat the game solo. I beat every game completely solo. That's like a personal, prideful achievement of mine. I'm gonna do it here as well. And no, I got to Malekith. I got to who's the boss everyone hates at the end of Haligtree? I forget her name now.
Millennia.
I get to Millennia, and I'm just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do it.
You're like, I'm out.
I'm so tired. Just Mimic Tear. Oh, Mimic Tear's here. I suddenly won. It's like, I'm over it, dude.
Get
Like,
call for
seriously,
backup.
I did like 20 or 30 attempts against Millennia, And I thought I was already being cheap because I was abusing the hell out of Hoarfrost Stomp.
Mm-hmm.
And that move is, they nerfed it now, but it was so broken at the time.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was.
And I thought I was already being cheap doing that, and I still couldn't touch this girl. And I'm like, all right, let me get Mimic Tear. I get Mimic Tear, I beat her on like the third try. And I'm just like, dude, I'm just, at that point, I was just so tired of the game, I wanted it over with. And it's really disappointing, like, hearing now that people are like, oh, I don't want to spoil it, so I won't spoil it by saying the name, but like, you have like the final boss that's like 2 different phases.
Yeah.
Everyone hates the second phase.
Yes.
Which is like, yeah, of course, understandable.
It's literally.
I still haven't gone near there yet.
It's literally an endurance test.
Yeah, it goes on for a long time.
It's a very long battle, and
But everyone makes a big deal about the first phase, the first part of that fight. Everyone's like, oh, that's one of the best fights in the game. It's so good. I never actually experienced it because I was so checked out at that point.
Yeah.
I'm just like, Mimic Tear, spam Hoarfrost Stomp, just get it over with. I was tired of it.
Blame you.
And that definitely killed my experience of the game. That's part of why it's like, that's part of my hatred for the game. It's because I didn't even want to, like, after Millennia and Malekith, like, it was stuff before that as well. Godskin Noble, I had a bit of a hard time with, It wasn't a horrible nightmare, but I had a bit of a hard time with, And then Godskin Apostle, which is like, he was the skinny guy. I don't think he's mandatory, but he like shows up optional here and there.
yeah.
I fought him before, and I'm like, man, this guy's really tough, And then you fight Godskin Duo, And I'm just
Bro,
like,
that was annoying.
and I'm just like, this is the best you got? How long has FromSoft been doing this? Like 11 years? Like really? This is what you're
Possibly.
doing? You know?
It's an annoying Smo and Ornstein. They're just that annoying, and it gets to a point where it's just like, find a way to cheese them. And I've seen people cheesing them where they just put one to sleep, kill them, wait, and
Really?
yes, put them.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. I'm dead serious. Put them to sleep. You can put them to sleep.
Oh, using
Never
what?
thought of
Same
that
train as
one.
arrows or the sword?
The pots.
Oh.
Just throw the
I haven't
pots
found
at
that
them,
recipe yet.
God.
and then you put them to sleep. You kill one of them, and then wait for the next one to spawn.
Yeah.
and you just rinse
That's
and repeat.
actually really smart.
Makes you feel better. I lost like 50 times to the Tree Sentinel because that was technically my first Souls game.
Well, Tree Sentinel, he's kind of like a beginner's trap.
Everyone.
Everyone's gonna like do a ton of attempts against him, you know, and you
remember when
either
everybody
get it or
dipped
you.
from the game because of it?
Say again.
You remember when everybody dipped from the game because of it?
Yeah.
That's still the biggest meme.
Can't stand trees, or like all the complaints of like, oh, who puts the tutorial down in this cave? It's like, if you just pay attention, like it's not that hard to figure out.
Yeah. And then you have to
Whatever.
fight 2 tree sentinels and a dragonic tree sentinel.
What?
Well, that's when it starts getting out of hand, where it's like,
It's all out of pocket.
like what do you? Hey, this is the comeuppance of all your experience, you know. I remember when Elden Ring first came out. I don't remember the guy specifically, but he said a comment like, everyone's saying that Elden Ring is Dark Souls 4. No, it's Dark Souls 4, 5, and 6 all rolled into one. And it's like, wow, this game must be really good. And then I play it for myself, and it's like, I get what you're saying, but this game has some issues, dude.
I gotta play the original Dark Souls one of these days. I gotta stop being a coward.
I'm telling you right now, the controls are going to be really, really janky.
Compared to Elden Ring.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Elden Ring's like polished.
It's super
Dark Souls
polished,
1, janky. Dark Souls 2, super janky. Dark
Yes.
Souls 3, good.
Yes, that's what I've been saying.
No, dude.
Really good. Like,
I'm not sure if I should
so
watch
polished.
I'm not sure if I should watch playthroughs or just do it.
Oh, try it yourself. See how it goes. But yeah, keep in mind it's going to be janky.
Good point.
So if you want to play a Souls game with really, really good controls, Dark Souls 3, start there.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Start there. Start at Dark Souls 3 because
I need
Or-
some lore to distract me.
I would also recommend. Obviously, the first Demon Souls is as janky as you get, but the remake is it's
Yeah.
a lot more polished.
Yeah.
That's another really good starting point. Is the remake of Demon Souls?
I wonder if everything's put together, like the whole universe of Dark Souls.
no, they're separate.
Yeah, they're pretty separate. Yeah. You can draw some illusions, like patches just somehow keep showing up everywhere.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they're all separate.
Good to know.
You don't actually.
Avoid Dark Souls 2.
I would say.
I know
would
that's
say
your
so.
nightmare. We've talked about this like 5 or 6 podcasts.
I actually have like 3 or 4 buddies that I know that I talk to regularly. They love Dark Souls 2. It's one of their favorites, and I'm just like, dude, I don't know. I don't see it.
That sounds like a dangerous game.
It's
But yeah,
all I have to say about Dark Souls 2 is a Shrine of Amina, and I'm just like, I'm out. Forget that. Like, if it was just that one section, that would be enough. But then, yeah, it's like super janky. Some parts look like an N64 game.
I just like the Turtle Pope.
The Turtle Pope in Elden Ring is great.
Yeah.
He's actually really cool.
yeah. But other than that, like Elden Ring, does it deserve a 10 out of 10?
Oh, not even close.
No.
I wouldn't say so.
No.
But it's not bad. I still
it's
think
not
it's a
bad.
good game.
Yeah, it's a good game, but it's definitely not a 10 out of 10. Once you've put in well over 100 hours into the game, you realize it's not a 10 out of 10, especially when you come across recycled bosses, and some of the enemies just being completely stupid, broken, overpowered to the point where it's just like mimicked here, or I'm summoning someone and y'all handle that. And as you said, the AI doesn't know what to do when there's like a group of people don't know what to do.
And that was fine for the earlier Souls games. Mm-hmm. But again, like I feel like they tuned Elden Ring so hard. You can still solo everything, of course, if you're really good, if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's like with every Dark Souls game, I was always, a giant great axe, a huge great shield. I had like the best armor I could have that still allowed me to medium roll. So it was like medium to heavy-ish armor,
Oh, I understand.
But the point is that I was so slow, but I could still like roll through attacks. I could still make things work. Elden Ring, like it just didn't feel possible. And then after I beat the game and I'm looking online and people are like, oh, just dual wield 2 great swords and do jump attacks and you'll kill everything in one shot.
Huh?
I'm just like I'm so over it, dude. I'm so tired. Speaking of like really goofy ways to beat bosses, the boss Commander Niall.
Yeah.
You know how he summons like the 2 spirits of his own. One of the best things that I found is there's an item where you can make enemies fight for you, and you use those items on the 2 spirits, and now they're on your side, and that doesn't count as a spirit of your own. So then you can have your own spirit on top of that. I feel like they designed Elden Ring around stuff like that, because like putting the Godskin duo to sleep, like I didn't even think that was possible, but yeah, I can definitely see it. It makes sense.
Yeah, and that's like you're not gonna know about that unless you come across it. But like after putting in 100 hours into the game, and I'm now realizing that I can actually put enemies to sleep.
Yeah, things like
I could put certain enemies to sleep.
I want to find Santrina's sword to do this. It's so beautiful.
It's so like.
Oh, and Bleed is
broken.
It really
it's
is.
so broken.
No matter what build.
Just get Rivers of Blood, max that bitch out, and just go to town. But I'm gonna tell you right now, going up against the final boss, you're gonna be struggling.
Yeah.
Oh, off topic, but FGC Gabe, he just wanted to say, Fourface, thanks for the advice for May. You helped me out a lot.
Oh yeah, no problem, dude. Absolutely. Yeah, he's another. He comes to the tournaments every once in a while. He plays May. He's trying as well.
One of those guys.
I want more May players.
Oh, goodness gracious.
But finishing off the topic, like I would like to see more independent gaming journalism. I like independent gaming content creators who still keep the integrity of gaming, because nowadays gaming companies, we already know they're in it for the money. So it is what it is, but hopefully things change, and hopefully the market changes to where people want honesty, and they're going to put their money behind people who are going to be honest, and it's not in the hands of bigger companies, but it's in the hands of the people, as it should be.
I mean, that's what it comes down to is IGN, GameSpot, all these big companies, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing if people weren't if they weren't going to the website, you know?
Agreed.
But by the same token, those kinds of people go to those websites and they rely on those reviews because they're much more casual. They don't care to scrutinize so much. They're the kind of people who are like, why are you nitpicking so much? It's like, well, I want it to be better. I want better games overall,
Amen to that.
Yeah. Those are the kind of people, obviously, like the more casual consumer outnumbers the more hardcore consumer.
Oh yeah.
That's how it is in every industry. So I get it. It's just what depresses me is these major journalism companies, they're like the face of the medium.
Yeah.
And they kind of represent me in a way, you know? When someone thinks of video, oh, you play video games? Oh, you must go to IGN. It's like, well, no. And then I have to explain why and, do this whole song and dance. So that's the unfortunate side of it, but it is what it is. By some miracle, hopefully people are like, why are you giving so-and-so game such a high review, Yeah. Why do you think games like, I mean, man, like say what you will, it's fine if this is your kind of game, but do you remember the game that came out several years ago called Gone Home?
I've heard of it.
I've heard of it, yeah.
It's basically a walking sim, which is fine. There's like no action to it. It's all exploring a big house, which is fine.
Oh, I've seen this before. Yeah, I'm seeing the reviews right now.
But when it came out, like Polygon.com, it was their game of the year. Like Dude, that one, really? If I'm not mistaken, all right, keep in mind, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, I'm pretty sure that's the same year that Metal Gear Rising came out. Maybe that's
2013?
Maybe that's not going to be your game of the year, and that's understandable. But there's no way in hell Gone Home's better. You're out of your mind. Maybe I'm wrong, but like, man, there had to be something that came out that year that was better. Like, come on.
You are absolutely right. Metal Gear Rising came out February 19th of 2013. Gone Home came out August 15th of the same year.
Oh, then I thought so, yeah. Because I remember looking into this and like I saw, because I reviewed the game and I'm doing research. What did other people think of it? And like, a lot of reviewers give like super high scores, you know, a really big deal. And Polygon.com gave it Game of the Year, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So it's maddening, but hopefully by some miracle people see stuff like this and they're like, this is where your standards lie. Like this is how you review stuff. And hopefully like there's going to be a shift in attitude. I honestly don't think it's going to happen unless there's like another industry crash, where like just en masse, everyone just stops caring about video games. And, the major AAA releases, they're just not successful anymore. And then who's going to be left? Well, the people that actually care, the hardcore. And then we'll see a bigger shift. That's not a good answer either, though. But that's all I see. Like I don't know. I don't see I don't see it getting better, so to speak. But whatever. We'll see what happens.
Which leads me to one of my next topics, and that is anyone experiencing a gaming burnout?
Yes.
I would say, yeah. I'm getting burnt out of shooters.
Yep. I can't play.
Yeah,
Apex the same
I'll
way.
give you that one. Yeah, for sure.
I'm really getting burnt out of shooters because it's just like.
I mean, it's unfortunate for you after Battlefield. Like that's not even fair. It shouldn't have been that bad.
They did the man dirty.
Yeah, for real.
I was hoping for the next Battlefield experience that was going to be great. It was going to be awesome. Like you're going to do even better than what you did with 4 and then with 3, because you can go back and play Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3. They're still good games. They're like, it still holds up. Like there's still people actively playing those games because it's so good. Like the gameplay is good. The gun mechanics are good. The gunfights are good, and customization is also good. You look at something like Battlefield 5 and you're just like, what in the hell did you guys go wrong? Like, what the fuck?
It was like everything planned, but not planned properly.
No, they did it on purpose. They made it bad as a joke. I don't know.
I'm just like, why? And then it's like, to me, they kind of, it was a specialist. Like, I did not like the specialist. I'm like, you had something that worked, which was your 4 classes. Assault
that they've had
engineer.
for every Battlefield game.
Like that's all you need. And if you want to have like a specialist kind of person and whatnot, then skins, just make them skins. Like Call of Duty did it right, where you have like individual character skins, but there's no class associated with them. You play Battlefield 2042, you have these specialists, and this one's assault, this one's support, this one's recon and whatnot. But it's just like, most of these characters can pretty much do what the other class can do. So it's just like, what's the point?
It's just adding a hint of seasoning to each character.
And it's like, they can do a little bit different thing. One has a wingsuit. Why can't all of them have a wingsuit?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, but that's true.
Like, the way how I would look at it is, if one had, like, the option would be you can have a wingsuit or you can have a parachute. One is of a higher risk, high reward, low risk, low reward.
Ooh.
Like, you can balance those two out. Keep support, keep assault, and so on and so forth. But confusing it with the specialist, and then, of course, 128 player mode, which I did enjoy for the first couple of months. And then it was just like, okay, this is boring because the map is so fucking huge. It's like, it doesn't feel like 128 people right here with me. I'd rather it just be condensed, like, get rid of all this extra shit and then just focus it on here. Focus it on just the infantry combat. And you look at 2042 now, How many maps are infantry focused where there's no vehicles? It's just all infantry. Like 2042 does not have like an Operation Locker or Operation Metro where it's just
Really?
100% infantry focused. It's just nothing but gunfights, grenade spams, you name it. No vehicles.
Gee.
And then when it comes to the vehicle aspect, you're missing some vehicles as well, because just like, how did y'all go from like you look at Battlefield 4 and what it offered without the DLC, it has more than 2042. There is more weapons in Battlefield 4 vanilla than 2042. How the fuck did you go backwards?
That is so
more
sad to hear.
vehicles, more weapons, more attachments. You had so much more in Battlefield 4, but in 2042 you had less. How the fuck you go backwards? I'm sorry.
No, it really is maddening. Like, it makes no sense. I can understand how, like, future fighting games, not every character comes back, you know?
Yeah. That I
But
can.
I can understand that, but it's rare for a roster to be smaller in number, you know, at least on launch. But yeah, like for shooter games, like at least have an equivalent number of guns and vehicles. At least figure it out, make it work. But EA is just like, we're gonna see how much we can get away with,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't be this way, man. It's really disappointing.
That's why, like, with shooters, I'm burnt out, and I do want to see what Call of Duty is gonna do with their next one, which is gonna be Modern Warfare 2. And I'm just like, I want to see if y'all gonna live up to
The original Modern Warfare
the
2.
original
I
one.
don't
Because
know
if
the
you
thing.
don't, it's just like if they don't, it's just like I'm done with shooters.
Dude, I personally believe it's going to be Warzone 2 at this point.
Could be. Now, when it comes to fighters, I don't think I'm getting burnt out, but it's just for me personally, I can't compete because I do so much here, running and organizing tournaments, and then of course my own personal life is like I don't have enough time in a day to sit down, practice, and compete. And I think the next game that I may, try to invest, some time in to be, competitively good is DNF Duel. And if that doesn't work, then it's just like, hey, I'm done with fighting games. But I do appreciate it, and I do like that, fighting games are getting a little bit better now.
Yeah.
Like they're offering more unique features to enhance the experience for players. And I think Guilty Gear Strive is doing a good job of doing that. And we spoke about that on the Strive cast, where I do like some of the new changes that Guilty Gear Strive is doing that I want other fighters to start, picking up as well. So that way it betters everyone, and it helps grows the economy in the fighting game community. So fighters, I'm not getting burnt out, but shooters, I'm definitely getting burnt out. Now, when it comes to single player games, it varies. It really, really varies because
It does vary.
Because if anything, it's like if I'm gonna play a single player game, I want to be invested in the story. So I'm gonna be really, really, really picky on which, RPGs, JRPGs I'm gonna invest in and whatnot. One of my favorite ones from last year was Scarlet Nexus. Really loved the game. And then I ended up playing Tales of Arise. Really good game. I enjoyed the stories of both games. So it was like, you know what? This was worth my time. It's worth the money. Cool. Because I don't want to just spend money on a game and the single player experience is just underwhelming. Like, I feel like I got robbed.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I would say with single player games, I'm picky on that. But it's just, I like good story and good gameplay.
Yeah, shooters I'm definitely burnt out too. I can agree with that. Everything feels the same.
Yeah.
Especially the whole battle royale concept we've talked about for the past 2 years.
I'm so tired of Battle Royale.
We definitely proved a point, bro.
Yeah.
We predicted that battle royales are going to be like the new next gen game, and it's just the same shit.
Yeah. What about you guys? What are y'all burnt out on gaming wise?
For shooters, I'm burnt out in a different way. I was pretty big, and I enjoyed Call of Duty well enough. I definitely played enough Call of Duty that like I could have considered myself a fan at the time. But then I played Titanfall 2, and there was just something so exciting about the mobility
Yes.
and the speed in that game.
I freaking love that game.
And then after that, I played Doom 2016. And again, just so fast-paced.
Yeah.
and then like later on, I played Doom Eternal as well. And after that, I'm like, I can't go back to this like really grounded, boots on the ground kind of game. I want Titanfall 3.
Yeah.
Like, man, come on.
We all did.
It's taking too long.
Yeah, I think when I did play Titanfall 2, like I really loved the single player.
Yeah, so good.
And I think one of the things that also stood out to me with that game, especially and with Doom 2016 and Eternal, was the platforming aspect.
Yeah, in a shooter game.
Yeah,
like they managed it. It's pretty good.
Like it was different. It was unique. It's not just linear, like other previous shooters, but it's just like you had options and you had the verticality, so you had avenues to do different things, and you would just have a really good time with it.
What I did like they gave Classic was including lives. You had certain areas you can go, the optional ways to get more runes and stuff.
Yeah.
They actually gave opportunity to that, and I respected that. I didn't get a chance to play the DLCs. The Battle of the Ancient Gods.
Yeah, I never played that either.
Was it good?
Neither.
I'm not sure.
I heard great things about it. Like it was really good because it added more to the story of Doom Eternal.
Ooh, I got to get it for Xbox.
That was a small issue I had with Doom Eternal. I felt like it emphasized too much on the story and cutscenes. Mm-hmm. It broke up the pacing in a way I didn't like. And then you get to like the second chapter is like the Sentinel, the land of the Sentinels.
Oh,
and so much of it is platforming, and there's not as much shooting.
Oh yeah. Did you get a chance to read the codex?
Oh yeah, and I didn't even.
I'm one of those people that sat down and read every single page to understand what
normally
it was all about.
Normally in most games I would, but I saw some of the codex for Doom Eternal, and they were just so long that I'm like, eh.
Like if I'm bored and I'm in a mood to play the game, I'll just read the codex at that point.
I mean that's always a good option, yeah.
I now know Doom lore, and that feels depressing.
But Doom Eternal is like when you actually get to the really good parts, like the gameplay is way better. It's so solid. Things like the shotgun with the grappling hook is so crazy.
The meat hook.
Yeah.
The meat hook. But I think as a whole package, I actually prefer Doom 2016 more.
Yeah.
But
I
both
miss
both games are fantastic.
Bro, I miss punching people to death. You can't do that in Eternal.
Yeah, you can't. Well, in Eternal, you can only do it when your meter is charged. Then you get like the super punch. And then you have to.
That's bullshit.
I didn't like it. Yeah, I didn't like that.
But the executions are very nice because you can do it in like all four angles.
Yeah, that was always such a neat feature they added.
Because you do it from the front, the top, the left, the right, and the back.
Yeah. Yeah, it was such a they didn't need to put that much effort.
They did.
But I'm really glad that they did.
My
it helped
respect
so
for
much.
Bethesda is pretty high.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, for Doom, I don't have much respect. I mean, it's super controversial, but like I think Skyrim is like ultra trash.
Honestly,
I think a lot of their first person RPGs are like conceptually they're okay, but the AI is not there. It's not even worthless. It's like there is no AI.
No.
Things like at least in Dark Souls, for example, you hit someone, they react. They get pushed back, even if you don't immediately hit them. But if you have a heavy weapon and you land a weapon in front of it, they get like unbalanced by the shockwave. There's reaction. All these Bethesda first-person RPGs, it's literally like
you stand.
Like there's nothing. It's like you're basically swatting at flies, and that's the whole game. And
I am interested in seeing what they're gonna do with the next Elder Scrolls game, which
6. Well,
yeah,
I'm intrigued in Fallout actually.
They haven't announced anything for Fallout, have they? I don't know.
They haven't announced nothing, but I'm curious on what they're gonna do.
I will say Fallout's like a little bit better since like gunplay. Like there's an emphasis on gunplay, so it's a little bit better for sure. But like, I hate all those games. I've played like 4 of them because everyone makes a big deal about them, and I played what? Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and they're all the same, and it's just I can't stand it.
you hate to see it.
It's whatever.
Fizzy Amp in the comments was just checking. Oh no, he was just saying Tekken player.
No.
Oh, okay, never mind.
No Tekken players, unfortunately.
All right.
I tried getting into a Tekken Tag Tournament too, and it's like terrible, awful.
All right. So since we're running a little bit out of time, what are your gaming pet peeves?
Ooh, I asked you about this yesterday. See if you
yeah.
have any ideas.
I don't know. I don't think I have anything major-ish, so to speak. I mean, the things everyone hates, like gacha system, loot boxes, microtransactions, of course, but I don't know. Anything specific?
We've talked about players themselves or communications.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. For fighting games, I'm not, I don't want to even like have this be interpreted that I'm calling anyone out. Like, I'm not.
No.
But in general, anyone who blames their loss on something outside of themselves, whether it's, something's wrong with my controller. There's lag on this version of the console and this version of the game. This monitor isn't up to spec. That's why I lost. It's like, if there's something wrong with your controller, unfortunate for you, but that's on you, Anything else, at the end of the day, we're both playing on the same platform,
Yeah.
If you say that again, I'm not being specific, I'm just speaking generally. If you say that like you lost against me because of lag, it's like, okay, so then did the guy you fought previously, he lost against you because of lag? That wasn't really your win, It's like, just be honest. Like, you lost because you lost. It was on you. You see how I am. Whenever I lose,
You're very internal from what it looks like.
I'm depressed for like 3-4 seconds.
And then you're back in action.
Then I get up, I shake the guy's hand, I give him a hug if he wants it. Good games, I love the game so much, and I love and hate the competitive aspect, but I love the competitive aspect. And I just want to get better, and I want everyone to get better. And there are few things, if not there's nothing, more disheartening to me than someone, intentionally or not, trying to invalidate someone else's win. I only lost because I'm not used to the lag on this version of the game. And it's like, nothing makes me want to play a game less than hearing from my opponent. It's like, you only won because X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
It's like
we didn't have PS4 Pros or something like that.
I mean, whatever. Like, don't get me wrong, all right? In an ideal world, we're all playing on highly spec'd out PCs. Failing that, we're all playing on nothing but PS4 Pros, all right? But you want that to happen, you put the money up,
Yeah.
You go ahead and buy, like, 10 PS4 Pros and 10 of the newest monitors, and go ahead and update those monitors every year when they come out with an even better one,
Exactly.
You go ahead and put the money up for that. But if failing that, what you're getting into coming here.
Yeah. It's going to be on the PS4. It's like...
it's on consoles. The version of the game. Deal with... I mean, everyone knows the risks. Really unfortunate that... I think it was Water, maybe someone else, but they had a Brook adapter for their controller, and it was giving them problems,
Mm-hmm.
And Water didn't complain about it. He's like, oh man, really unfortunate, this gave me issues, things like that. But the point is, the risks, what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Oh God, I forget who, but someone was complaining that like one of the buttons on their hitbox controller was just not working. And it's like, that sucks,
Mm-hmm.
Again, the risks you're getting into. This is, when you get down to it, a hitbox controller is a third-party, unlicensed controller.
Yep.
So that's part of what you're getting into. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be fine. But that one time, maybe you lose the tournament because of it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's the point I'm getting at. We all know what we're getting into. There's no mystery. There's no grab bag. You're not walking through the door and all of a sudden it's like, oh man, I thought we were playing Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. Oh, I thought we were playing Smash Brothers 64. Melee, I wasn't ready for this. It's like, no, we all know what's happening. Like, don't get started. Same thing while you put you're doing Melee tournaments, but it's going to be over HDMI. It's not going to be over CRT. There's no mystery here. Don't be surprised when you get here.
No, they bring their own CRTs.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my God.
That's dedication.
Yeah.
That is like old school stubborn.
They bring their own CRTs and they're using a program called Slippy off of the Nintendo
yeah.
Wii. Yeah, so
I've heard of that.
That's how they do stream Melee.
That's smart.
So it works. So it works and it gets the job done. So I'm not complaining on that. But yeah, like I've had complaints in the past of where people say the setup was laggy and whatnot and things like that, and I'm just like, but if you look at our monitors, the only ones that are not the same are the BenQs. We only have 3 of the pretty much the same BenQs, but everything else are just the Acer TV. So it's just the Acer monitor. So it's like if you played on any of them and they all have PS4s because there's only one PS4 Pro and that's at the stream setup, you're literally playing on the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. There's no difference.
But hey, if you want PS4 Pros and things like that,
feel free to bring your own. Feel free to donate.
Yeah, you can bring your own, or you can donate so that way I can have them here. Because I'll tell you right now, getting a used PS4 Pro, it ain't cheap.
Yeah,
no,
even the PS4, it's not cheap. Monitors are not cheap. Well, the Acer monitors are cheap, but the ones at the stream setup are way more pricier than any of the monitors that I have.
Oh yeah, the Asus.
Yeah, like I spent a really good amount of money on those, like close to $200 each.
I think a big part of it it comes down to being kind of ungrateful. Like this is
I understand people have their expectations, but it's just like you understand this is just a grassroots kind of play, so
yes.
It's not a superficial PC land place or whatnot. It's not like that. So
it's just straight up an arcade.
Yeah,
and if I'm not mistaken, like this isn't quote unquote directly connected to the arcade. Like you're doing this, you're setting this up. You have a partnership with them where you're using the venue. If I'm not mistaken.
No, it's actually a part of the arcade.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Yeah,
for sure. But the point is that like this is a lot of work to set up, and I understand drive time for sure. Yeah. Like I have to drive like 45 minutes, and that sucks. But that's location. Like, what are you going to do about that?
Oh, yeah.
What the arcade is asking from you is $10.
Yeah. Other places may charge higher, but
yeah, but it depends on the place. But like,
or treat it like a monthly.
For $10, it's like, honestly, dude, you don't like it, don't come back. That's fine. Like we're here to enjoy ourselves. That's what it comes down to. I don't want to say that, but I mean,
and you can bring your own setup as well.
Yeah, you can. No one's stopping you. You can bring your own monitor.
$5.
Yeah. I don't want people. I understand like some people can have valid complaints for sure. Like I'm not trying to like shut people down, but if everyone else is having a good time and everyone else is doing fine and you're the only one, well,
yeah, it's like that. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And me being a TO is just I just keep driving on. I hear their complaints and whatnot because I get a lot of complaints here and there and whatnot. So it's like it's not the first time I've heard this, but it is what it is. And I always offer them, hey, you can always bring your own.
Yeah. Oh,
you can always bring your own. But
I don't know how you're so dedicated. That's too much. I couldn't do it.
But with that, let's touch up on our another topic is you had to be there moments.
Oh, before that, Kiyobastein, he's just like, just bring your own stuff or accept the condition provided.
Yeah, I've already.
Exactly. Yeah, basically.
Well said.
You had to be there for me to try to destroy the table.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Don't worry, it's fixed though.
I hope if that table.
Yeah, all I had to do was just bend it back up. That's it.
If that table falls apart for any reason, I'll have to buy a new one.
Listen, if you end up winning Fighter Fest and getting the belt, I'll accept that.
Man,
I had to be there, man.
I'm not gonna win Fighter Fest as long as.
Shut up, you'll be fine.
No, I gotta wait for like Hotashi to move to another state, and even then, like just to troll, he'd probably fly down here anyway.
No, you gotta worry about Hotashi and
Idiosyncrasy and Marvello.
And AJ.
So at least get placed as a goal.
You know what? Maybe I can figure out where AJ lives and like cut his brake fluid or something.
Why would you go more north and head back south?
Just to prevent him from coming.
God, if AJ watches this, I'll laugh harder.
I need to figure out like the outside the game OS. How do I prevent people from showing up in the first place? No, yeah, it makes me wonder. Like, man, is Florida like the #1 spot for Guilty Gear Strive? Because
It feels like it.
there are some demons here. This is ridiculous. I mean, just between Hotashi, Idiosyncrasy, Marvello, and AJ, just them alone, those 4.
And Creator.
Creator is really good too. Turb is getting up there. He's great too. Omega Tom Hanks, no joke either. He's really good.
And Beefy.
Beefy's great.
It's just everybody pretty much.
He doesn't come here as often, but Krona's pretty good. He's usually goes to Next Level Gaming in Miami, but Krona's a really strong player.
Sixella, aka FP.
Sixella's great. Herbs is really good. Even if Herbs can't get top 8 consistently enough, his Jacko's no joke.
That man is a whole threat.
He's good. Butter Punch has been getting better every single time.
And everyone hates his Happy Chaos.
I trained with him, my own teammate. I want you to know what I feel. I love it though. I learned.
I mean, at this point, I'm just shouting people out, but like Yismail is excellent too.
Yeah, he's getting stupid good.
Yes.
Like, really, really stupid good. Like,
He was a round away from beating Marvello.
I told you, you were one hit away.
One hit, yeah.
One hit away, because Marvello literally had just like an inch of health left, like less than an inch of health. All he needed was just one hit.
God, I had to see it.
I don't remember the exact match anymore, but like maybe he was just like one chip damage away, like one dolphin on block away from dying.
Yeah,
Man,
like it was that close. Like I could feel the intense pressure that he had, and they had it on stage with, and I was like, yo, Yismail's showing out tonight. Like he's doing godly stuff right now.
Yeah.
He was just one hit away, and I was just like, damn.
I want to be recognized as the best May, but it's probably going to get a lot harder.
It's gonna be competitive. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, that was a moment like you literally had to be there for, like whenever FourFace pops off.
That is a moment we are all here for, at least.
That's just me embarrassing myself.
What? No, you're
Getting
having fun.
so excited over what?
You're having fun, and
No,
everyone
when
loves
you
it.
beat Creative for the first time and winning the
Oh
tournament,
my
and
God.
like you were mad ecstatic.
I mean,
my God.
I just couldn't believe it because the way this set was I won the first game, and then he won 5 in a row.
Yeah,
not just 5 in a row, but then on the 6th game brought me to he won the first round.
Yeah, because Creative reset bracket.
Yeah.
Because you were sitting in sitting in winners, and Creative reset bracket, and I was like, damn, the momentum's going in Creative's favor. And then out of nowhere, like something clicked, and then he just took it over.
Like finally, something
forgot
was
about
like, stop falling for this. You know, you can do better than that. I think it was Senpai and was it you or maybe Herbs commentating? I don't recall.
I think it was.
It was Herbs.
It was Herbs?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was definitely Herbs.
Where you were just doing nothing but it was me and Herbs, where you were just like,
I remember
doing
like
so many
dolphins. Yeah.
The PTSD kicks in of Dolphins.
Oh man, that was a crazy because I didn't think I was gonna win. I was as down as possible. He won 5 in a row, was on 1 round to win, and then I brought it back and I won 3 in a row. It was unbelievable. Like I lost my mind. I'm like, I can't believe I pulled it off.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was great.
I got to shorten up, but you had to be there moment. But I remember Herbs invited us to do a PC tournament for Guilty Gear. So I invited FourFace to my place.
Yeah, because I don't have the game on PC.
And that's okay. So we're just sitting in my laptop, my living room, and I'm watching this man personally pop off every single time he won. Like, I'm laying in my couch, my dog is on me, and like we're like fist bumping, and we're just like rising up and overreacting.
I love the game so much, and you put in so many hours practicing.
Also,
you know?
I'm not sure who it was, but literally you beat somebody immediately, and you're just like, I'm done with FGC. He made somebody quit.
Yeah,
I don't know who this person was, but it was the highlight of the night.
That guy, he got on Twitter right after the match, and he's like, "I'm uninstalling Strive. I'm done with fighting games."
This man really made somebody quit Guilty Gear. After one set, I cried.
That's never a good feeling. But I think that guy's back to playing fighting games, thankfully.
Good.
So that's
Yeah,
good.
I went 1-2. I don't even care that I lost. I cared more about this incident.
But yeah, just I love the game. You put in so much time and effort in practicing, and then to see those results play out in real time against like another random opponent. No one knows what anyone's planning, what's going to happen, and you pull it off and it works. I mean, you know, people can make fun. It's like, oh, dude, that combo is so easy. It's like, I don't care. It gets me results, and I'm proud that I was able to pull it off in the middle of a real match.
Yeah, later that night after he got second place, we ended up going to Gordo Burgers, and then we played. We were at that kava bar till like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah, just playing games with Waluigi and Herbs.
Yeah, I'm literally training with them almost every opportunity I get, and I love it.
Waluigi's been getting really good, actually. Like, at this rate, he's gonna start hitting top 8 consistently here. Like, it's really
I'm
scary.
looking forward to it.
All right, and our last one, closing remarks, since we're out of time.
Yeah, we've definitely run this pretty late, unfortunately.
No worries.
I don't know. I love Guilty Gear Strive so much. I want to say like I love fighting games in general, but like it's just this game that I like a lot, and I'm really grateful to have. I wish there was like another place closer to where I live, but I'm really grateful to have this place. You know, to come to do tournaments. Obviously, I'm biased because I'm sponsored, but but no, it's just like even if I lose my sponsorship tomorrow, or if I never was sponsored, like I'd still come here all the time, just because.
Hell yeah.
Nothing like the online in this game is really good, but nothing compares to playing offline, and that has helped tremendously. It's helped me get so much better. And hopefully I do well at Combo Breaker. That's right around the corner. It's just like a few days away now.
Yep.
Yeah, and video games are awesome. I don't know.
Nicely put.
Yeah. Waluigi, any closing remarks?
Dude, I've been waiting for this like whole interview for a while, and I'm glad to have you here. And glad to pick you up, regardless of situations. But definitely glad you and Herbs also trained up with me, or at least gave me the opportunity to train with you guys. And you guys inspired me to get into FGC a lot more. I got to thank y'all. Shout out to Tylis. that was so lackluster of me. But reading through the chats, let's see. Cuba Science said competitive games in general can be rage-inducing, not immune to it either. And then FGC Gabe just states that offline is the best experience, and CEO is close too.
Yeah, that's next month.
Yeah, I'm definitely ready for it.
I'll try.
I got a room and everything.
Yeah, I already got a room as well.
Yeah, I got a room, and then I got a few people with me.
Nice.
I know, a whole group of degenerates. I'm looking forward to it. What about you, brother? You got anything?
FourFace, it has been an honor to finally have you on the podcast, because I know earlier I've been, asking to, get you on and whatnot, and, due to work, conflicts and whatnot, I completely understand, but it is so great to have you on. Finally, we have the man,
the legendary person.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not even that special. Everyone,
Yes.
I don't want to say everyone, but like
Yes,
too many
you
people,
are.
too many people make a big deal about me, and I'm like, I don't know. It's whatever.
One of the finest South Florida Guilty Gear Strive players here in South Florida.
Agreed.
Yes, one of the finest.
I don't know about that.
The greatest May in the Southeast region. Can't change my mind.
If you say so, I don't know about that.
You're goddamn right, I know so.
But honestly, it's been great to have you on and, sharing your perspective on gaming and, going over some of the topics that we had for today's discussion. Can't wait to have you again, hopefully for another Strive cast. So,
Absolutely.
Oh my
so that
God.
way we can get more of you guys on. And of course, having each of you guys talk about your experiences and things like that. And of course, improving, working on improving the community, and so to speak, and giving, at least us an opportunity to give you a platform to share who you are as a player and, of course, as a gamer as well.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
So where can people find you on social media?
Pretty much anything that says FourFaceButtons, all one word, whether it's on YouTube, Twitter. I don't really use Twitch anymore, but whatever. Basically YouTube and Twitter. You search FourFaceButtons and you should find me.
All right. Well, y'all, that concludes today's episode. This has been episode 53 of the South Florida Gamers Podcast. We are signing out.
Take care. Thanks for watching.
Love y'all. Peace.